yo, you like this here gilded t-shirt I got? About to get real ritzy up in here. Yeah, there we go. Now I'm gonna tell you the story in a way that makes sense, because the timeline's a little messy. So it starts out with this cat from Nowheresville named Jimmy Gats. And he's got nothing. He's just a little farm boy or whatever. He's from the Midwest. It's the 1910s or something. And the Great War starts. You might know it was World War I. Back then it was called the Great War because they didn't have, you know, multiples yet. So the Great War starts and he enlists. You know, when you enlist in the army, you get status instantly. Bam, American hero. He meets a rich girl named Daisy, and he likes Daisy, and Daisy likes him. But everybody likes Daisy, if you know what I'm saying. But that only makes it, you know, hotter to him, and I can relate. Since she's a rich society girl, he's like, dang, I gotta front like I'm some rich society cat to holler at this girl. So he's all, I know such and such, and we go back like baby powder and everything. But I mean, she falls in love with him, and vice versa. But he's gotta go off and fight the war. So he goes and fights the war, and he's doing well. He's rocking the machine gun. He got a couple of medals of valor. And so when the armistice happens, that's the word that you'll need to know. Armistice. They say, okay, GIs, y'all can go to college in England or France, whatever college you want. So he goes to college in Oxford for about 5 months, finds out Daisy back home about to get married to some rich cat named Tom Buchanan. And he's like, oh man, Tom got my girl. He writes a letter to Daisy. Daisy gets the letter the day before the wedding, and she's wrecked because she still got love for Gatsby, even though she's getting with Tom, right? She does what she's gotta do, you know, she ain't crazy. She goes and marries Tom. So Gatsby's upset. He goes back home after a minute. Now he's back at square one. The GI money runs dry. He's no longer in the army. He's like, dang, I gotta come up. But you can't just run up on Daisy like, come with me, Daisy, we love each other. But he ain't got no dough. I mean, the relationship is built on lies. He runs into a cat named Mayor Wolfsheim. Mayor Wolfsheim. I call him Mayor Lansky because it's probably who it was modeled after. I don't know for sure, but Mayor Wolfsheim, he's like some kind of like street hustler, mobster type cat. And Gatsby gets in with him and starts doing, you know, running the streets, doing whatever he does, and just gets his money and cakes up. And so his plan is to go to where Daisy lives, near thereabouts, and start making a name for himself over there, and hopefully, organically, the two of them will cross paths, and you know, they'll elope, and that whole thing will go down. Daisy lives in New York. She lives in Long Island, a place called East Egg. So homeboy gets a spot in West Egg, across the bay, buys a fat mansion, starts throwing parties every weekend. Mad alcohol, which at the time is a prohibition. I think it's illegal to buy and sell alcohol, but it is legal to drink alcohol, so you know, loopholes, right? So everybody's showing up, and then a bunch of nobodies just coming anyway because the door's open. And everyone's got something to say about Gatsby because he comes, you know, from nowhere. He says he went to Oxford, but you don't seem like an Oxford cat. He's got 5 different stories about his background floating around in the neighborhood. It's around here about in the story where we introduce our narrator, a cat named Nick Carraway. Nick is kind of like a scrub. He rents a house next to Jay Gatsby, and he's working in Manhattan trading stocks, trying to get his dough. But there's wild parties every night next to his house, and he's like, all right, well, I guess I'm walking over there to see what's up. Well, he's impressed with him. He wants to meet Gatsby. He seems like a cool, upstanding cat. Our man, Nick Carraway, is Daisy's cousin, all right? So when Gatsby gets wind of that, he's all like, oh, what's up, old sport? How you doing, old sport? Let's go do this, old sport. Let's, you know, he's trying to get in. The whole time this is happening, you have to read through Nick's narration, which really I could care less. He's kind of a piece of crap character, like real human garbage. Like he's up in there talking about, oh, I wanna get with this chick, the sports star, Jordan Baker, but I kind of have a girl at home, and unfortunately, I'm so honest, I don't want to break it off or whatever, but he's a piece of garbage. That's the best part of the book, is just how much of a dick this guy is. Everything else in the book kind of sucks. Gatsby's like, hey yo, get your cousin over to the house so I can, you know, just kind of walk in like it's all good, you know, try to get at her. And so he does his thing, because Gatsby's rich and Nick wants to be friends with rich people. He doesn't say it, but his actions are screaming it. Like, all right, invites Daisy over alone, no husband. Sketchy. Gatsby comes in all nervous because, you know, the moment that all the years have been building up to is happening. So he meets with Daisy and they're both like, oh my God, now what? This is great, but oh my God, this is too much. And they have this moment, this one moment in the middle of the book where everything's perfect and it's all downhill from there. Daisy's kind of ready to get with Gatsby because her husband Tom is cheating on her with some mechanic's wife. So everyone kind of knows what's going on and they're kind of getting ready for divorce court to break out, but everyone's still trying to be friends. So they all have a day together. They're all like, oh, let's go to New York. So they all get in each other's cars and they're all drunk. As Family Guy put it,
look, if you're in your own car, you're in the wrong car.
Tom is in Gatsby's car talking to the mechanic. The chick that he's cheating on Daisy with is looking out the window at Jordan thinking that that's Tom's wife. So she is like, oh my God. So her relationship's on the rocks with the mechanic and now with Tom. They all meet up in New York and no one's happy and they're all screaming, oh, I love Daisy, Daisy doesn't love you, and oh, I love you, Gatsby, but I kind of love Tom too, and it's the whole thing. And Nick is like, oh. So on the way back, they all get into their cars that they kind of belong in. Daisy is driving Gatsby's car with Gatsby in the passenger seat. And when they drive past the gas station where Tom's mistress is, she sees the car that Tom was in before, Gatsby's car, and tries to run out and like stop it and talk to Tom real quick. Daisy's driving drunk, for real, like I Can't Drive 55 style. Bam! Busts her right open in the middle of the highway and just keeps going. And so the mechanic is wrecked. He doesn't know what to think because, you know, it could be Tom, but it wasn't Tom's car. Tom's upset because he's not that heartless. The mechanic at this point he spends a couple of days just totally off his rocker and he's like, yo, somebody straight up killed my woman. I think it was Tom. I gotta go holler at Tom. And so he takes his trusty little revolver, goes up to Tom's house, and he's like, hey yo, was it you? Did you do it? Tom at this point knows that it was Daisy driving in Gatsby's car. He seizes this opportunity and he says, hey yo, it was Gatsby who did it. He was the one driving. And so Tom and Daisy ditch town while the mechanic goes up to Gatsby's house, finds Gatsby chilling by the pool and ices him, and then ices himself at the end. I think the moral of the story is supposed to be something like you can't revisit the past or something. The book itself, as I was reading, it seemed really shallow and silly, except for whenever Nick Carraway would have a soliloquy, at which point I would be like, wow, what a jerk. That's the main thing that I noticed about this book, is that Nick Carraway is a real jerk and a sycophant. Even though he tries not to be, he just is. But as far as the writing is concerned, it's pretty good. I don't know if it's like great American novel level writing, like it's no Game of Thrones, but it's pretty good. There's some bars in here for sure. The modesty of the demand shook me. He had waited 5 years and bought a mansion where he dispensed starlight to casual moths so that he could come over some afternoon to a stranger's garden. Oh no, yo, starlight to casual moths, it seemed that was like a bar to me. This whole thing about the sycophancy, because everyone just runs up to Gatsby and wants to be Gatsby's friend because he's got money. But Gatsby only cares about Daisy. There's something in here that references that it's when Nick and Gatsby are all together and Tom's somewhere else and so is Daisy, but they're talking. Nick says, she's got an indiscreet voice, I remarked. It's full of... I hesitated. Her voice is full of money, he said suddenly. That was it. I'd never understood before. It was full of money. That was the inexhaustible charm that rose and fell in it. The jingle of it, the simple song of it. High in the white palace, the king's daughter, the golden girl. Bars. Another thing about this book, which I kind of thought was real interesting, the way it was portrayed in the end. When Gatsby's dead, no one comes to his funeral except for like some guy who was in his library and like someone else. Everyone else stayed far, far away from him. And Nick is talking about it as if no one cared about Gatsby except for me. When I read Nick's reaction to none of Gatsby's friends coming to his funeral, I was thinking to myself, well, that's because you're square, dude. Gatsby was a gangster. You think any of his really close people want to be near the body when that thing goes down? That's such a public burial. Not smart. Even though Nick was the one who really figured out what Gatsby was doing. After his death, when Gatsby's on the table, the phone rings, no one else is in the house, he picks it up and some cat is like, this is Slangle speaking. Yes, the name was unfamiliar. Hell of a note, isn't it? Get my wire? There haven't been any wires. Well, Park's in trouble, he said rapidly. They picked him up when he handed the bonds over the counter. They got the circular from New York, giving him the numbers just 5 minutes before. What do you know about that, eh? You never can tell in these hick towns. Hello? I interrupted breathlessly. Look here, this isn't Mr. Gatsby. Mr. Gatsby is dead. There was a long silence on the other end of the wire, followed by an exclamation, then a quick squawk as the connection was broken. So that's essentially saying that Jay Gatsby was getting money through bank fraud, giving fraudulent bonds to banks in small towns and cashing out before they knew what was what. And that's really the only indication of any actual criminal activity that Gatsby was into. Which is pretty sick. I thought that was really tight. But aside from those things, I'd give it like 2.2 stars, to be honest. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't just read it just to read it. But yeah, that's my official review. Great Gatsby, you feel me? If there's anything else that you really want to know about these books that I'm like missing, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to know more like nerdy stuff, I guess, just hit me up, let me know. Otherwise, find me on Twitter at @ThaylaGray with an A. And on Instagram, I think it's @_Havard or @_Taylor, or one of them numbers. Anyway, you can hit me up here too. Same thing, you'll catch me. All right, take care, kids. I'll see you when I see you.
Anyway, like I was saying, you're a trash because you earned your money a little bit more recently than me.
What are you getting at?
I'm saying I invited you over and sat you next to my wife to say, stay away from my wife. You know what we should do? Let's all drunk drive into Manhattan and get a hotel room and have the same conversation we're having here. I'm starting to think this isn't a very good book.